So, how do you get someone to believe, well, almost anything? I mean, to totally abandon their old life for a brand new one. Today, we're going to deconstruct the blueprint of cults. It's one of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood forms of social influence ever created. It's a pretty provocative question, isn't it? What's the secret recipe? What are the psychological levers you can pull to make people believe, to make them belong, and sometimes to make them obey without question? Let's dive in and break down the playbook. And hey, right up front, let's be super clear about this. This is not a how-to guide. Not at all. It's a how-to spot it guide. Because if we understand these powerful tactics, we can start to build up our own immunity to manipulation, whether it's coming from some fringe group or, from somewhere a lot closer to home. Okay, so step one. Every single one of these groups, and I mean every single one, begins at the exact same place. And it's not with strange rituals or weird robes. Nope, it starts with something incredibly simple and incredibly powerful. This right here, this is the hook. The promise is never complicated, it's always profoundly simple. We have the answer to your loneliness. We have the secret to true happiness. We know the one true path. It's designed to just cut through all the noise and anxiety of modern life with one single, clear, hopeful message. And this promise works so well because it targets the deepest, most universal parts of just being human. I mean, who doesn't want to find their purpose? Who doesn't crave a real sense of belonging? In a world that feels so chaotic sometimes, the offer of absolute certainty and a clear path to becoming a better you, well, that can feel like a lifeline. So once a potential recruit is listening, they're hooked by that initial promise. The next step is to build an entire world around it. You don't just give them an answer, you give them a whole new reality to live in. And the absolute most crucial tactic here is splitting the world in two. All of a sudden, you're not just some person learning a new idea. No, you are part of us, the special ones, the enlightened ones. And everyone else, they become them, the lost, the ignorant, the poor souls who just don't get it. This creates an instant identity and, let's be real, a powerful feeling of superiority. And this new reality, it has some key ingredients. There's always a leader, right? Someone who has all the answers. There's a secret truth that only the group knows. You get a new language with special words that bond everyone together. And critically, there's always an enemy. The government, the media, non-believers, you name it, to create this sense of being under attack and to unify the group against a common foe. Now, a new reality isn't enough by itself. You have to make the recruit feel it deep down. And this is where the emotional manipulation really kicks into high gear. Okay, so imagine this. You walk into a room and you are just instantly showered with praise, with attention, with affection. People are telling you how brilliant you are, how special you are, how they've been waiting for someone exactly like you. This isn't just people being nice. It's a very targeted campaign to completely overwhelm your emotional defenses and make you feel, for maybe the first time, unconditionally accepted. The effect is just intoxicating. It leads to that exact sentiment you see here. I had finally found my people. For anyone who's feeling lost or lonely, this experience fills that deep need for community we talked about earlier. It feels like the promise has been delivered. You found your tribe. All right, so let's get into the next phase. Once that person is emotionally hooked, the group starts to methodically, almost surgically, prune away their old life, making the group their entire world. See, control rarely just happens overnight. It's a gradual process, like climbing a ladder of escalating demands. It starts with simple suggestions that honestly sound pretty reasonable. But then, slowly, those suggestions turn into discouragement, and eventually they become outright rules. This slow burn makes it so much harder for the member to even see what's happening until they're already way in over their head. The goal here is total control. By managing what you read, who you talk to, how you spend your money, and where you spend your time, the group systematically replaces all your old support systems and your own independent reality with theirs. Your entire life gets filtered through the lens of the group. And that brings us to the final lock in the system. How does a group make sure that even if a member starts having doubts, leaving feels completely, totally impossible? This is a really powerful psychological bias that, honestly, we all have. Once we've invested a ton in something, a job, a relationship, a belief system, it becomes incredibly hard to walk away. Why? Because doing that would feel like admitting all that effort, all that sacrifice was a total waste. And these groups, They exploit this to the absolute extreme.
Just think about it. After years inside, think of what you've given up: your money, your job, your family. To leave means losing everything: all your friends, your home, your very identity. On top of that, you've been taught to fear the outside world, and you have no safety net to fall back on. The psychological and the practical cost of leaving just becomes astronomical.
Now, it's really easy to think of this playbook as something from the past, used by some fringe groups out in a remote commune somewhere. But the mechanics of persuasion, they're timeless. So the real question is, can we see echoes of them today? Well, think about that alluring promise of transformation. You can see a little piece of it in a high-end fitness brand or a tech company that's selling not just a product, but a better version of you. They're offering a simple solution to a really complex desire for status or health or productivity. And the love bomb? We definitely see a version of that in the overwhelming welcome you get in a passionate online fan community or maybe a super niche subreddit. It's that instant acceptance, the shared inside jokes, that feeling of immediate belonging with your people. And that us versus them mythology, oh, it is alive and well. You see it in corporate cultures that pit themselves against their competitors, or in political movements that define themselves almost entirely by who their enemies are. It creates a really powerful, really binding identity. So look, the takeaway here isn't to be cynical about everything, but to be critical. This 5-step playbook, the promise, the mythology, the love bomb, the isolation, and that sunk cost trap, it's a powerful framework for persuasion. Understanding it doesn't just demystify cults, it gives you a brand new lens to see the world more clearly. So the final question is, now that you know the pattern, where are you going to see it next?